So our Western democracy is in a state of crisis. At the same time, we are facing external crises, even war. So the West, as a whole, and Europe, we are facing challenges we have never faced, I would say, in post-war history. And so cohesion is important. And there is a challenge. We thought it would be a matter of history. This is war in Europe. And this will define our fate and destiny for years, perhaps decades to come. If we do not succeed in banning war from Europe again, war will stay, and it will have its impact. It will come closer. It will get ever more expensive. And so it's really a question of war or peace, security in Europe, and the West has to stand up. The Europeans, Germany, has to stand up to its responsibilities and to our own interests.
I was talking to a leading policymaker last week, and from a country that sits much closer to the border of Ukraine than where we sit today. And the message was effectively, look, if we have a Trump presidency and the war is solved very quickly, don't think that the problems are behind us, because you'll have a Russia that is meddling even more than ever before in domestic politics in Western democracies. Do you agree with that, even if we get to some resolution, which does not even seem to be in sight at this stage, that Russia is still a major threat?
Absolutely. Russia will, as long as Russia remains an imperialistic country. Imperialism is what is at the heart of what is threatening the West, not Russia itself, but this imperialistic view and stance. And if Trump gets elected, and if he were to strike a quick deal with Putin on Ukraine, it could only be a deal at the expense of Ukrainian security. This would be at the expense of European security, because this is tantamount, Ukrainian security and European security. And then NATO would not be what it has been over decades during the Cold War. This is the worst case scenario, because then the war would have paid off for Putin. And if war gets rewarded, if war pays off, war will stay. But war will remain, and then we will have a deep divide within the West, which is just what both Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping wants, to divide the West, to weaken the West. And if this weakening were to come from the most inner circle, from the President of the United States, the most powerful country in the world and in NATO, this would be a fundamental damage for the West and our cohesion and our abilities to stand up for democracy and our values.